Boker Tov, good morning, everyone. We continue today with our next day of Elul. And this morning, like every morning, we begin by singing the words of Psalm 27, Achat Sha'alti. One thing I ask of the Eternal, only that do I seek, to live in the house of God all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Eternal, and to frequent God's temple. Achat she'alti meit Adonai, ota avakesh. Achat she'alti meit Adonai, ota avakesh. Shivti bebeit Adonai, kol yemei chayai, lachatot benoam Adonai, ulevaker behichalo. Lachatot benoam Adonai, ulevaker behichalo. This morning, we have the pleasure of having a reflection from Maura Lowenstein, and she is sharing with us a story with a moral value that she hopes that her children and all of us can take into this High Holy Day season.
Thank you for including me in this project. I was thinking about my wonderful mother-in-law that gives me great advice. She inspires me because she never gives up and teaches me not to either. I'm learning not to dwell on past failures and in heartaches. I want to guide my kids so that they can learn these important lessons sooner than I have. And so I shared my kids this story, analogy, um, hoping that my 13-year-old twins will learn things a little sooner than me. And I thought I'd share it with you. It's called A Carrot, an Egg, and a Cup of Coffee. You may have heard of it before. A young woman went to her mother and told her about her life and how things were so hard for her. She did not know how she was going to make it and wanted to give up. She was tired of fighting and struggling. It seemed as if one problem was solved and a new one arose. Her mother took her to the kitchen. She filled 3 pots of water and placed each one on a fire. Soon the pots came to a boil. In the first one, she placed carrots, in the second, she placed eggs, and in the last, she placed ground coffee beans. She let them sit and boil without saying a word. In about 20 minutes, she turned off the burners. She fished the carrots out and placed them in a bowl. She pulled the eggs out and placed them in a bowl. Then she ladled the coffee out and placed it in a bowl. Turning to her daughter, she asked, "Tell me, what do you see?" "Carrots, eggs, coffee," the daughter replied. Her mother brought her closer and asked her to feel the carrots. She did and noted they were soft. The mother then asked the daughter to take an egg and break it. After pulling out off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, the mother asked the daughter to sip the coffee. The daughter smiled, tasted its rich aroma. Then the daughter asked, "What does it mean, mother?" Her mother explained that each of these objects had faced the same adversity, boiling water. Each reacted differently. The carrot went strong, hard, and unrelenting. However, after being subjected to boiling water, it softened and became weak. The egg had been fragile. Its thin outer shell had protected its liquid interior, but after sitting through the boiling water, its inside became hardened. The ground coffee beans were unique, however. After they were in the boiling water, they had changed the water. "Which are you?" she asked her daughter. "When adversity knocks at your door, how do you respond? Are you a carrot, an egg, or a coffee bean?" Think of it this: which am I? Am I a carrot that seems strong, but with pain and adversity do I wilt and become soft and lose my strength? Am I the egg that starts with a malleable heart but changes with the heat? Did I have a fluid spirit, but after death, a breakup, a financial hardship, or some other trial, I have become hardened and stiff? Does my shell look the same, but on the inside, am I bitter and tough with a stiff spirit and hardened heart? Or am I like a coffee bean? The bean actually changes the hot water, the very circumstance that brings the pain. When the water gets hot, it releases the fragrance and flavor. If you are like the bean, when things are at their worst, you get better and change the situation around you. When the hour is the darkest and trials are their greatest, you elevate yourself to another level. Do you handle adversity? Are you a carrot, an egg, or a coffee bean? May you have enough happiness to make you sweet, enough trials to make you strong, enough sorrow to keep you human, and enough hope to make you happy. The happiest of people don't necessarily have the best of everything. They just make the most of everything that comes along their way. The brightest future will always be based on a forgotten past. You can't go forward in life until you let go of your past failures and heartaches. And I think it's an important lesson. So I hope you enjoyed it if you have not heard that story before. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Maura, for sharing that story with all of us this morning. And I think at some point in our lives or another, some point during this pandemic or another, we've probably all been all three of those things. And I hope that we can find strength from one another, that we can feel the support that we need when we need it, so that we truly can be like the coffee bean and make the world a little better for everyone around us and ourselves as well. This morning we are going to turn to the words of our psalm as we say them one more time, hoping that they have a new meaning for us this morning. Of David, Adonai is my light and my victory, from whom shall I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life, from whom shall I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this I would trust. One thing I have sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I might live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I might look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. That you might hide me in your sukkah in a chaotic day, hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises above my enemies round about, and in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I am crying out. Be gracious to me. Answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road, because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life? Wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. This morning we begin to look at the very last verse in our psalm. Wait for Adonai. And I'd like to share with you these words from Rabbi Deborah Robin's book based on the beginning of this final verse. In life, there is a lot of waiting. There's waiting for phone calls, appointments, information, test results, real results. There's a lot of waiting. In an office, the car, the exam room, at home. There's waiting alone and with each other. There's waiting for minutes that seem like hours, hours that seem like days, days that are like weeks, which feel like months, even years. I am always in the waiting room, a space of waiting, holding a container that needs to be filled. If waiting is a bucket, what does it hold? Worry, and then anxiety, some fear, and also anger, maybe boredom. Business, busyness, and everydayness of my life that I am sure can't wait. like emails and texts, daily news, podcast playlists, and posts to social media on every subject imaginable except what I am really waiting for. But what if I fill my bucket of waiting with hope in Adonai? Like the hope of Emily Dickinson, the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. This is not false optimism or a denial of reality. Hope in Adonai is bright and growing and beautiful, just as it is elusive and fleeting. In the soul, in the heart, it sings, it breathes, it never stops at all. And I am always waiting. It's a perfect match. I will fill my waiting with hope, a tune without words, a prayer from the heart. I will fill my bucket with hope for myself, for those around me, our world, and the waiting room that is my life. For many of us, this pandemic feels like a whole lot of waiting. There's so many things that have been pushed off, from weddings to b'nai mitzvah, baby namings. And I think that slowly people are saying, you know what, I'm done waiting. I want to live, and I want to live now. But at moments that we do need to wait, at moments of uncertainty, I think that Deborah Robbins gives us a model for holding on to hope, allowing us to fill that void with some positive energy and optimism and coming together. This morning, I want to thank all of you for coming together and being here as a community. To Debbie and Riva and Diane and Leanne and Sunny and Bonnie, Rivka and Andrea, Donnie and Maura. So glad you're here, and thank you so much for doing a reflection for all of us. And Susan, thank you for being here, for forming community. Your presence matters quite a lot. Really, this Elul reflection program, it's important that we hear the shofar sound. It's important that we go over Psalm 27, that we have opportunities in order to connect and prepare ourselves for Rosh Hashanah, which is beginning in just a few days. But it is equally important that we have opportunities to really get to know each other in meaningful ways. And I am so grateful for every single person who has offered a reflection, because each of you have shared a little bit of your soul, a little bit of yourself. Whether it's through your stories, through talking about the way that you're preparing for High Holy Days, talking about ways in which people have influenced your life, art that has uplifted you, or a myriad of other things, you have shared something with yourself that has enabled connection. And I think this month of Elul, in addition to being a month of personal introspection, is also a month of coming together as community. I am grateful for everyone who has enabled us to do that. Finally, I'd like us to be able to hear the Shofar Blast, and there is no one better to blow shofar for us this morning than George Mayer. Thank you, George, for giving us those beautiful shofar blasts to awaken our souls. And finally, as we do every morning, let us sing the words of the Mischievour Prayer. We know that there is so much need for healing in this world, healing within ourselves. And so we hope that in saying these words, we can uplift ourselves and one another, praying for a speedy and complete recovery. Sheberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mischievour Prayer. Mischievour Prayer. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, a day of meaning, and a day filled with blessings. For everyone who is a parent in our community, we have our Parent Survival tonight at 9 p.m. Otherwise, tomorrow I just invite you to join with me for another Elul reflection. And also at 7 p.m. tonight, we have Cantor's Corner with the Cantor, so I hope that you can tune in for that as well. I look forward to seeing